Hello, good afternoon everyone. From today we are introducing new program under Sajilo News and presenting our debate where many people from different sectors will discuss this program. And as today we are going to discuss about of Nepalese political, and we have political analyst who is Buddhachiri Mokhtan, and we are going to discuss about of Nepalese political. Nepalese backward communities have been doing struggle with the government for 250 years. Why they have been doing a struggle with the government?
So there's a concept that we call modern state,
Yeah.
and modern states are built on the basis of one ethno-national identity.
Yeah.
For example, in Nepal, it is called the Nepali national ethno-national identity, which is we don't know whose ethno-national identity is it, but in Nepal we have other different identities, national identities, like the Tamangs, the Limbu, the Newar, and so forth.
Yeah.
So in the historical process, so these national identities are they suffered heavy state persecution, state brutality, so they became actually stateless.
Yeah.
So there is a term in political science called stateless nations.
Yeah.
So these other nations that become stateless
Yeah.
are struggling for their statehood all over the world, not only in Nepal.
Yeah.
So their struggle is for the statehood.
I think it is not only for the Nepalese issue. You are saying that?
Yes, it's a global phenomenon all over the world. According to United Nations data, there are around 8,000 nations in the world. So out of 8,000, only 200 got states. So the rest, let's assume that 7,800 nations, nationalities are under the control of the 200 states. And the 200 states are controlled by the 200 different national elites, like the Gorkhalis
Yeah.
are the national elites of Nepal who've been controlling the state for the last 200 years, and they are enjoying all the benefits, privilege, power and privilege, and the rest of other nationalities who are in fact became stateless are fighting for their statehood, because they also want to have their share in the state power and privileges. This is not only in Nepal but in America, in Canada, in Scandinavia, everywhere in the world.
You said that stateless communities are very large in the world, but a little countries they are leading. Why they could not overcome from that the situation?
I mean, why aren't they successful in their struggle?
Yeah.
It's very difficult because if you have if once you are stateless, you lose your dignity.
Mm-hmm.
So one who lose their dignity, who have lost their dignity,
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult for them to really organize themselves
Mm-hmm.
against the powerful state
Mm-hmm.
to fight. But and there are many other factors behind why such struggles are not successfully at.
Mm-hmm.
But after 1990s,
Mm-hmm.
the struggle of stateless nations
Yeah.
for the statehood
Mm-hmm.
are rapidly getting success.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Have you any examples
like
in the world?
for example, in the Scandinavian countries, the struggle of Sami nation.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, struggle of Inuit nation.
Mm-hmm.
And in New Zealand, in Australia, the struggle of Aboriginal nations.
Mm-hmm.
In America, the native nations.
Mhm.
There are maybe more than 50 plus native nations in America.
Mm-hmm.
So they have now full rights
Mm-hmm.
according to the legal jurisprudence
Mm-hmm.
set out by United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Peoples' Rights.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the Latin America, the modern states are now run by mostly indigenous nations,
Mhm.
like Bolivia,
Mhm.
where the first indigenous president, Evo Morales,
Mm-hmm.
he won the election, and then he, with his presidential decree in 2009, he declared Bolivia as plurinational state.
Mm-hmm.
So now even Argentinians are discussing about whether to call their state as plurinational. Even Brazil,
Yeah.
and even Mexicans,
Yeah.
Ecuadorians.
I think they are also growing, developing countries nowadays.
They are rapidly,
Yeah.
they are rapidly developing.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Africa, like
Mhm.
the state like Ethiopia,
Mm-hmm.
they have now very radically, federated state.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it was one of the poorest country,
Mm-hmm.
now it's fastest growing growing economy in Africa, Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And even this South Africa, there are autonomies for the cultural nations,
Mm-hmm.
local autonomies, even larger autonomies. So these are the things that this is.
We are becoming success to secure their rights and to lead the nations. But while they becoming unsuccess in South Asian, that backward communities to lead the nation.
In South Asia,
Yeah.
India, Indian democracy to some extent allows the minorities
Yeah.
to assert their rights.
Mm-hmm.
So even Telangana has a new state now.
Yeah.
Jharkhand became the new state.
Yeah.
Manipur, Nagaland.
Yeah.
So these are different identity-based
Mm-hmm.
states created within the framework of constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And if we look at in Burma, there's so many wars going on now.
Yeah.
The China nation,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the dominant ethnic group,
Mm-hmm.
Chin nationality.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have Chin National Army fighting with the central government or the military government of Burma.
Yeah, there is also strong military power, in
And then-
Burma.
Exactly, they have many armed groups
Yeah.
fighting with the government.
Mm-hmm.
And even in Northeast India, there were a lot of armed groups.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's been slowly settled down with the negotiations
Mm-hmm.
and giving autonomy rights to the the ethnic nations or indigenous nations. by Nepal, we're supposed to have all this autonomy and self-determination in our constitution, which was promulgated by Constitution Assembly, but it didn't happen in Nepal. So the problem is unresolved in Nepal. So we have to initiate new wave of movement, actually. So that's what they have different factions, different groups in Nepal are now organizing their struggle. They are reorienting, redesigning their struggle, even after the.
It would be necessary to become the success in at least that moment.
Otherwise, if these issues are not addressed, Nepal cannot go for the prosperity and development. The slogan given by the major party, the development and prosperity, would not be achieved, without resolving the discontent issues, political discontents. Political, issues are not yet resolved. So the centralized structure of state cannot function. And what we have now as a federation is still centralized structure. Although nominal federation, we call it nominal federation.
It is only nominal federation.
Nominal. So it is not actually, the power devolution is not there. So we have to work a lot on that. So until and unless it is done, the goal of development and prosperity would not be achieved.
That's why we're leading the movement. They are fractioning in different parts. How they can achieve the goal to secure their rights in Nepal.
So you mean how can they come?
Come
together and unity
to fight.
How can they make their unity among the factions? That's a very good question. Philosophically speaking, political game is a game of elite. So we lack competent elite group from among the stateless nations. We lack enlightened elites from among the stateless nations. So until and unless we have these enlightened agencies or competent group of elites to fight with the state power, only
why necessary to have elite group?
Because politics is the game of the elites. That's what I said. So people, the mass has very little role in politics. They have very important role, but their role is not. Their role is very occasional. Like when there is election, they have a role to vote. When there are big protests, they have a role. But protest and elections, it cannot happen every day. So there must be a group of enlightened, educated elites who work every day, every moment, tirelessly to designing the struggle and designing the power and designing the power matrix. And those people must be like the scientists who design it, the engineers and scientists who can really do new social engineering, social power configuration, creating new social power configuration. We lack that kind of smart people from among us. So although our people may join us sometime emotionally in some protest or in election, with the due to lack of this very highly competent, highly enlightened elite group. The people's participation eventually turned out to be a zero-sum game, so we don't have a result at the end. So then people get frustrated, so they rather choose other parties, because those parties and those groups have very competent elite group, especially the Brahmins and Kshatris. They have very well trained elites who can really manipulate global power, who can manipulate local resources, local power, who knows how to play with the geopolitics and everything. And we lack this kind of elite. So due to absence of that kind of competent team, political game cannot be win.
You already said that the proper team should be conduct to excellent fight, or if you want to win the game, those things should be conduct in those group who are leading the movement, identity movement. How to conduct? Do you have any suggestions for the who are leading the movement? Have you any suggestions?
This is also a very important question. We have to bring some theory to answer your question first. Our struggle is for statehood. Unless you become part of this state, we don't have the dignity of modern man. We don't get that dignity of modern man. Only by by being successful in making wealth is not enough to earn dignity. Like some Tamangs are rich, but do they have dignity? No, they still considered as second-class citizen or whatever. So economic factor does not determines entirely the dignity part of the man. So dignity part of the man can be addressed with the political rights. That means having full access to political power, state power and privileges. So that's the thing. So then how do we achieve that? There are two theories. Like when the Marxist theoreticians formulated their theory, especially Lenin, he said one word, the class consciousness or proletarian consciousness. So there are big mass of working class people in the society, in the factories. There are a huge number of working class people, but only having large number of working class people does not make sure, it cannot make sure that the socialist movement will be successful. In order to succeed in socialist movement, from among this mass of the working class people, few must have a socialist consciousness first. In the same manner, we have large number of stateless people. Almost 40% of Nepalese population are still from among the indigenous nations, considered as stateless nations, stateless people. So from among these people, there must be a number of people having national consciousness. Marxists defined that class struggle while doing their movement in Nepal had the same situations. Exactly. So for the class struggle to succeed, there must be strong team of people having class consciousness or proletarian class consciousness. They're not only working class people, but they must have a consciousness of class or proletarian class. That means they must be enlightened one. Similarly, to succeed the national struggle, which is our struggle, our struggle is not class struggle, it is national struggle. That's why it's a struggle for statehood. So to succeed in national struggle, we must have a number of young, highly intelligent people having national consciousness. Only having national consciousness,
It should be very necessary for.
without those national vanguard, if I borrow the word of the Lenin,
Yeah.
the national struggle cannot be succeeded. So we lack these highly enlightened national vanguards now in our country.
How to bring that conscious in that people?
That's another very important question. Lenin said,
Yeah.
in order to bring class consciousness in the mind of working class people,
Yeah.
some bourgeois intelligentsia who has full knowledge of Marxism
Yeah.
should go and teach go and teach the working class people about the national consciousness. So the method is to use the ideology of Marxism, science of Marxism. So here, in order to bring national consciousness from among the stateless nations, we have to use the science of indigenism, and through that we can bring national consciousness in the mind of the stateless nations, and eventually some of them will become the vanguard, the vanguard who work fully for this mission of national revolution. So that's how the socialist revolution and national liberation is different. For the socialist revolution to happen, there must be social consciousness, consciousness of socialism, socialist consciousness or proletarian consciousness. For the national revolution to succeed, there must be national consciousness among the stateless nations. This is very politico-academic work, and we lack this. Only by doing academic work we will not succeed. Only by doing political work we will not succeed. We have to have politico-academic work.
But some activists have been doing that. You already said should have conscious to deliver in the communities,
because there lack a consistent effort, because there lack a commitment, a determination. If there is no national consciousness among the stateless nations, what consciousness will they have? They will have NGO consciousness. So only having NGO consciousness is not enough to lead national liberation revolution. NGO consciousness will ultimately end in token benefits, token gain, so little gain, maybe some reservation, and that's all, and they end their struggle there. If you have a national consciousness, you don't end your struggle there. You want to have a statehood, you want to have share in the state power and privilege. You want to be the owner of the state, you want to be you want to be the bearer of state, not. So that's the motivation we need. So among our activists and among our leaders, they only have NGO consciousness. That's the problem now. So to transcend that NGO consciousness,
it should be a change for to become this success, this moment. It should be changed, the concept.
Yes, to transcend that NGO consciousness, they must study indigenism, the science of indigenism, the philosophy of indigenism. Without studying the philosophy of indigenism, you cannot transcend NGO consciousness. Only by relying on liberalism and Marxism and trying to lead national liberation revolution, it is not possible. By relying on philosophically on liberalism and Marxism, if you try to lead the national liberation revolution, then we end up into NGO consciousness, and then we end up by gaining. We end up, doing some, ill-fated deal, some quota, some reservation, some token benefits, and we give up. So that's the problem.
That's why we are leading the movement. It should be review.
We must go back to. We must review everything.
Everything.
Exactly. That's important. And there must be some very small number of highly enlightened people who must seriously discuss about who must seriously discuss and articulate the entire the strategy and tactics with the based on the ideology of indigenism, being guided by the ideology of indigenism. If you create your strategy and based on that strategy you apply various tactics, then we succeed. But we don't use this whole we don't apply this whole set of principles. So we just do with our emotional drive. Today I want to do something. You do it, you have a zero result. Next day you want to do something else. So that's what we call it populism. Because populism does not seriously think about revolution. They don't design revolution in their mind first. They just want to they just pick things from the society and popularize it.
And that's why the moment want success in any time.
Because they don't have a design in their mind. They just pick things from the society for their own selfish benefit. Although they talk about big revolutionary ideas, but in whatever they talk, it's all related with their own petty small benefits. Bourgeois benefit. We call it bourgeois inclination actually. So then people don't follow them. People don't trust them because they're not credible enough to be leader. That's the crisis today.
That's why there's so many activist movement facing that the situation, the becoming day by day weak, the moment.
Exactly. Like for example, this no Koshi movement. I don't see any enlightened agencies there to intervene. Why no Koshi? Because we don't like Koshi. Why don't you like Koshi? There must be political principle, political ideology to guide your position, your disagreement, or your opposition voice. You just cannot say that. You cannot do it emotionally. We have to have with this rational-minded, highly well-articulated intellectual bourgeois. If I borrow the word of the Lenin, bourgeois intelligentsia, who could go to the communities, who could go to the people, and bring national consciousness in the mind of the people, in the mind of the the masses, and these masses, when they join to the struggle, then only national liberation revolution will be succeeded.
So this is only one option for the success.
Exactly. There's no other way.
The
other way is not possible. It is it's been the way for last thousands of years, and it will remain the same way for the thousands. This is what we call power engineering. Like you engineer electric power. To generate electric power. You need a very efficient engineering. In order to generate political power, you also need very effective social engineering. Otherwise, that's not possible. It's only a daydream, what we call.
And you are also activist as backward communities. What are you doing nowadays?
What's my plan? My plan? Oh yeah, that's a very important thing. I have spent almost a decade plus time. Decade plus time to study the global power configuration, how the power configurations are transformed and changed. For example, during the Rana's time, there was one kind of power configuration.
Yeah.
The Prithvinarayan Shah created another one kind of power configuration. The BP Koralas, the liberals, designed one power configuration, and based on that they developed their own philosophy, ideology, and they did radical social engineering to support that power superstructure. So the communists did the same for last 70 years or 80 years in Nepal. Since the Pushpalal, they have their own power configuration, and they do they do a compatible social engineering to support in the base to support the power superstructure of the power.
I think, do you want coffee from them?
I mean, it's not copy. We must do the same thing. If you want to have a talk show, you must have cameras. It doesn't mean that you are copying somebody else. So it's an instrument that you have to use every time. Some may have a very fancy studios and expensive cameras, but at least whatever you have, you need a camera. So similarly, if you want to produce a revolution, you must some instrument you must use exactly it was used by other people. So we must what I've done so far is that I have articulated a vision, a philosophy, a guideline principle, and I have designed a new power configuration. That power configuration will lead the country for 21st century, the entire for the entire 21st century. So
in the globally,
particularly in Nepal. But it is in line with the global configuration, power configuration. So then now I'm radically engaged in social engineering to support that superstructure, power superstructure. So through the social engineering, which we have called struggle against marginalization in Nepal, we have a campaign for a struggle against marginalization of nationalities in Nepal. So through this struggle, through this campaign, we are doing new social engineering that will support the power superstructure of power, which we have already imagined, which we have already engineered, and then it will take us maybe a decade time to complete all this, but we will be completely successful. I am 100% confident on that.
Okay. Thank you for your wonderful time.
Thank you.